Okay, it's time now for the cover producer video. Again, if you remember, the theme of Disc 1 was everything you need to produce the podcast you want. Cover Producer is a program that enables you to quickly and easily produce a cover for your podcast. If you've ever looked at an MP3 player, the iPod, or even a lot of the desktop players, in the area where the album art goes, where you traditionally would see the cover of the album if you're listening to a song, is a space to put some art. And this is a way to brand you and your podcast. A lot of us aren't artists. I certainly am not. Cover Producer is a product that enables you to quickly and easily produce that very cover. The original version of it is included in the basic version of Podcast Launch, and there's an extended business template directory that is included in the business version of it as well. This video will cover both. The business version just has more templates to choose from. Now, what it does, it is the exact same product as for purchase at podcastcoverproducer.com. You have the entirety of the $97 product in your hands, so enjoy. It creates a cover quickly that you can be proud of. And when we show tagging and when we show setting up the final podcast, the integration of this image will be very, very important for you. So that's what it does. The demo is very simple. It's a 3-step process. You pick the template, you mark up the template, and you save the picture accordingly. We'll move over to Podcast Cover Producer. Now, you have a number of templates built into it. You can see there's a series all in different colors, or it has all of them show all background images, or you can, of course, that's the show all background images, and then you can, of course, load the own if you have somebody produce a template for you. What we're going to do here is we're going to just pick one. I like that one. Double click on it, and then it takes you to step 2, and that's where you mark it up. Now, you can add an image, you can add a shape, you can add a line, you can add text, you can add whatever you want to your podcast cover. Now, this is a 300 by 300 image, very important because that is the size, that is the standard size for a podcast cover. That is the one that you want to use, very important to realize and implement accordingly. So now we're going to do 1, 2, 3, podcast launch. That's going to be the name of our podcast. And so we're going to take a look at this. You basically click that button to bring it in there. As you can see, well, that's kind of boring looking amongst our screen here. So let's we'll make it a little bit bigger. Do that with the size. Look at that. That's starting to look good, but I don't like that font. I really am big on the Verdana font these days. Yeah, but now it has to be bold. That's okay. We can increase that up a little bit. See how this is easy to use? This is really, really easy for anybody who's done, any simple basic graphics design. Now, you can shadow it. You can bevel it. I kind of tend to like the bevel effect myself. You can pick the color. And let's make that red. And you can even maybe rotate it a little bit if you'd like. It's kind of an interesting look. Let's maybe increase that a little bit. We'll just increase that. As you can see, basically, you can just spend some time, developing exactly the podcast cover that you want to develop. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So 1, 2, 3 podcast launch. The sideways thing I think is just too much for this. So we'll go back to a rotation of normal, but the possibility's there. Beautiful. And now we're going to take this and we are going to step 3. Now you can save the project if you've got a bunch of text in different positions and you've got graphics and stuff and you think you might want to come back and change it at some point. You can save the project with all the files accordingly. And actually, I'm going to move this down just a little bit. I think that's better there. Yeah, good. Now I'm going to move it down just a little bit more. So you can save the project if you want to, and certainly something you might want to think about. In this particular demo, we're not going to. You want to save it as a JPEG. This gives you the option to save it as whatever file format you'd like. For podcasting, I definitely recommend you save it as a JPEG. Save it as 100%. Save the image as. Now we're going to put this in the same place where we put our recording, and we're going to save it as a JPEG. And we're going to call it 123 cover.jpg. And now we have our created cover template. That's really it. You grab the template, you mark it up, you save it accordingly. That's the demo for Podcast Cover Producer. So what's next? Go ahead, install Podcast Cover Producer, produce a cover for your podcast, and then in the next video, we're going to show you how to integrate that and the WAV file, make an MP3, and get ready to publish it. There we go. Be sure to watch the video as many times as you need to, but really Podcast Cover Producer is not that complicated. The install file is right here on the disk, and if there's ever an upgrade, we will have that for you at the private member website. Thank you very much. Go ahead, produce your cover.